Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching the finale of the second season of Dark. Yes, this is the 8th episode of the second season. I cannot wait to see what we do to conclude it. You know, interesting stuff's going on. We're seeing things play out exactly how they should have done. And we're also seeing that people trying to prevent things then causing the things to play out as they should have done, if that makes sense. So if you focus on Jonas going back in time to prevent his dad from killing himself, it actually was a catalyst for his dad to actually go and kill himself. We looked at last episode, Claudia was going back to stop her father from doing whatever it was that caused him to die, because basically she found a newspaper article saying that on this date her father Ergon died due to a mysterious death. It was unknown, and obviously we found out the cause of death last episode because she was trying to prevent his death from occurring by bringing him back to her house. She wanted him to live with her so she could take care of him, and they ended up getting into a little kind of like scrap, not like fist fights with each other, but he basically was starting to figure out what's going on in the caves, the mysteriousness around it, you know, all of the stuff that's going on, and he wanted to call the station, and she didn't want that to happen because obviously she knows what's going on in the power plant, and basically she don't want to expose it and all the details and all of that. And he was both holding onto the phone and he was pulling it until he fell over and he banged his head, and you know, she was then going to call for the ambulance and she didn't, and she realised, you know what, everything's got to play out as it was. And it's interesting because obviously the intentions of the two in the episodes, you know, Jonas was to save his dad, she was to save her dad, ended up being the basically accepted death of them both. Jonas knew when he was leaving his dad was going to kill himself. She knew when she was leaving her dad was going to die, and she just left him there. And then obviously, like in episode 7, we had Jonas collect her and said that we've got to go, and in episode 6 she collected him, her older version of herself, and said we've got to go as well. So I mean, it's exciting to see what we do with them two and what's happening. Her body, which is interesting. So basically in the timeline in 87 last episode with Claudia, the younger one, she was there with her dad, but Claudia, the older one, was found dead, and she's the White Devil. Now obviously we've been told there's a light and there's a darkness. Whose side do you truly believe? Is the light side, it sounds better, is that the right one? Or is the dark side? Join the dark side. Is that the better one? So I mean, I don't know, man. It's really interesting, and we are in the finale, which means it's gonna be good. We know it, we expect it, and we can't wait. Thanks for checking it out. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you do. And as always, let's jump into today's episode. Back into the future. What the fuck? She's Charlotte's mum. No, that is pretty mad, that, isn't it?
Der Anfang ist das Ende. Das Ende ist der Anfang.
Wait, that's her kid?
Alles ist miteinander verbunden.
How's that actually work?
Ich konnte ihr nicht sagen, wer ihre Mutter ist. Genauso wenig wie ich dir sagen kann.
See, this is why I always say that I kind of can't get my head around certain things. Like, so Charlotte's kid has had a kid, and that's Charlotte's mum. How's that work out? Like, because this kid wouldn't be here unless Charlotte gave birth to her, and then Charlotte wouldn't be here unless her kid that she gave birth to had a kid. How's that cycle work? You know what I mean? Like, I understand what they're saying, but like a chicken or the egg, mate.
Wenn du wissen würdest, was ich jetzt weiß, dann würdest du nicht mehr tun, was du tun musst, damit ich zu diesem Augenblick gelange.
He does look like him now, though. He does look like Magnus, and that does look like the other girl.
Es ist alles vorbereitet.
27th of June, the day of the apocalypse, 2020.
Mein zukünftiges Ich hat versucht, das Loch zu schließen. Das alles rückgängig zu machen. Er hat die Passage geschlossen, aber den Kreislauf nicht durchbrochen. Aber du hast gesagt, wir können eine kleine Komponente in der Gleichung ändern, dass er...
He's not explained he wouldn't exist.
Wir ändern ein Sandkorn. Und damit die ganze Welt. Wie war Oma so? Also als Mutter.
Sie ist nicht tot, weißt du. Sie war hier. Sie hat etwas hier gelassen. Sie hat gesagt, es tut ihr leid.
Ein Durchsuchungsbefehl für das Kernkraftwerk.
They've had one of them before anyway.
AKW gelten Sonderbestimmungen.
Der Richter hat dem Antrag sofort stattgegeben. Interessiert vielleicht in Anbetracht des laufenden Verfahrens gegen Sie.
Du kannst ihn nicht auf das Gelände lassen.
Vielleicht ist es gut, dass jetzt endlich alles rauskommt.
Ich wollte das alles nicht, das musst du mir glauben. Aber du musst mir jetzt zuhören.
Was machst du hier? Komm.
Ich bin schuld dran, dass alle sterben.
Was?
In ein paar Stunden geht hier alles hoch. Alles fängt wieder von vorne an. Die Zukunft fängt an. Ein neuer Zyklus.
Ich kann mich nicht gehen lassen.
Tust mir weh.
Ich hab dich einmal sterben sehen. Lass es kein zweites Mal zu.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, aren't you? When it actually happens and they're in the bunker, 6 hours until the apocalypse, you gotta thank him.
Wo ist der Scheißapparat?
Meine Mutter hat ihn.
Das ist nicht richtig.
Warum hat Noah mir nicht gesagt, was ich damit machen soll? Wozu erzählt er mir das alles?
Wo willst du hin?
Ich will den verfickten Apparat finden.
You'd be fuming if you was Bartos though, do you know what I mean? Like, your only purpose was to give them the machine, you know what I mean?
Jonas?
That's the world's best light, isn't it? Right, before we go into this, right? It's called Endings and Beginnings, yeah? But if we go back to earlier on in the season, well, we'll go back to the end of last season, to be honest, season 1, yeah? Jonas ended up going through into a portal or whatnot, and he jumped into the future. He did. And he got knocked out by that girl, and it was Welcome to the Future. We know for a fact that that's obviously ahead of this timeline. And we also know for a fact it's Charlotte's kid. I mean, I do apologise for not knowing her name, but Charlotte's kid, the young one, the deaf one, we know that, obviously, now... She has a kid and it becomes Charlotte's mum. Don't understand how that happens, but we rock with it. That's what we've been told. And she's in the future. She's the one that put the rope around his neck. She's the one that's obviously looking at the memories at the start of the episode. And we know that the apocalypse does happen and people die. Now, we'd seen Jonas walk through a graveyard and it said Waller on there. It said Marta on there. It had other people's names as well. So, like, this does happen. But maybe, you know, the whole point of the season is they're trying to change it. It's a new cycle. And they want to stop and prevent it from just going consistently the way it always has. The apocalypse restart, the apocalypse restart. Do you know what I mean? And, like, today they're going to try and change that. But if we follow from the start of the season, it looks like when they jump into the future, it still happened. It actually still happened. So I don't know how we're going to get it, but it's going to be good to see, obviously, how it plays out.
Was ist das?
Passage.
Aber du hast gesagt, du willst sie schließen. In der Zukunft. Oder Vergangenheit. Deine Zukunft.
Ich habe lange gebraucht, zu akzeptieren, dass ich Teil der Katastrophe sein muss, die ich eigentlich verhindern wollte. Du hast mir alles beigebracht. Über die Zukunft und die Vergangenheit. Da draußen gibt es 2 Seiten. Adam und Sigmundus wollen eine neue Welt erschaffen. Du und ich, wir wollen diese retten.
See, they want a new world and Jonas wants to save it, but I actually want to save it as well. I want everybody to somehow get back to the episode 1, to be honest, at the end of the show.
Warum machst du das? Weil ich weiß, was heute passieren wird.
Stimmt das?
Ich wollte das alles nicht, Martha. Du hast mich am Leben gehalten. Ich bin nur hier wegen dir. Jonas kommt zurück. Es wird alles genauso geschehen, wie es immer geschehen ist.
Here we go. Like I said, we're not really seeing much of her, to be honest.
Ich muss dir was sagen. Auf dem AKW-Gelände. Alexander hat da was einbetoniert. Ich habe ihm dabei geholfen.
Gesagt, das alles hat etwas mit dem AKW zu tun. Jonas wusste das.
Du hast Jonas gefunden?
Nein, er ist zurückgereist aus der Zukunft.
Yeah, he's a bit confused with that one. I still don't know why this guy's helping him, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, why is he been helping the other guys like a dog? Do you know, if you think and follow it, Noah's married to her, or was. You know, had a kid with her. It's mad, that, isn't it? I feel like Marta gets out then. 4 hours until the apocalypse.
Ganz, was Sie sich hiervon erhoffen. Das Gelände ist riesig. Morgen soll die kontrollierte Abschaltung stattfinden. Das kann man sich nicht einfach so anschauen. Reststrahlung. Ich würde aber auch nicht davon ausgehen, dass sie da irgendwas finden.
Did Jonas bring this with him? This photo album?
Katharina,
Wie funktioniert diese Maschine?
woher hast du den?
Wie kann ich Mikkel damit zurückholen?
Selbst wenn ich es dir erkläre, es ist unmöglich.
Mikkel gehört hierher. Und du nicht? Dich dürfte es gar nicht geben.
Mein Leben jederzeit gegen seins eintauschen. Aber ich kann nicht sterben, weil meine Zukunft bereits existiert.
Warum bist du dann zurückgekommen?
Ich habe versucht, den Ursprung zu verhindern.
It's interesting. The thing is, right, can you not live in a timeline where you actually go back and you could see him like Ulrich kind of did with Mikkel? You know, he went back, he sat that way, he didn't, well, technically he did go back a long time and he progressed forward into the Mikkel timeline and he's spoken to him and he hugged him and he seen him. Like, can she technically not? But the thing is, you wouldn't accept it as a mum, would you? You wouldn't accept that, like, 2 weeks ago or a year ago, you had a kid and it was yours, and he disappeared, and you could only see him in segments if you travel back through time and spend a couple of hours with him here and there. You know what I mean? Because I was going to say, she could go back and see him and hug him and say, look, you have to stay here because the future's already set, but know that I love you and all that, and I'll come and I'll see you and I'll visit. You know what I mean? Like, that is literally the only way, because it wouldn't influence the decisions going into the future. He would just see him here and there, and do you know what I mean? And know that his parents still does love him.
Wir können unserem Schicksal nicht entkommen. Weder du noch ich.
Hier sind deine letzten Seiten. Du hast mich benutzt. Du hast mich all diese Dinge tun lassen.
Worauf wartest du noch? Erst wenn wir frei sind von jeder Emotion, sind wir wirklich frei. Es gibt keinen Menschen ohne Schuld. Keiner von ihnen hat einen Platz verdient in deinem Paradies. Dieser Knoten lässt sich nur lösen, indem man ihn voll und ganz vernichtet.
It is unexpected that though, but why are all these fucking puppets and strings? This is what like does my head in. Like, I need more explanation of all these people. Why are they doing it? Look at this one. Well different.
Das ist die Zeit. Wir verbinden Vergangenheit und Zukunft.
I honestly feel like when these come down to move into the bunker, she's leaving. All the birds and everything falling from the sky again. Not seen that in ages.
Was ist das?
Das ist Jonas. Er hat die Passage wieder geöffnet.
Nicht eingesperrt. Hey, warte, warte. Hey,
Look,
warte,
she's
warte,
going. I'd say she deserves to die. Do you know what I mean? People are stupid. Like, they actually are. Someone comes from the future and tells you something, yeah, and they just ignore it.
Noah hatte recht. Hatte recht mit allem. Ich hab's euch gesagt. Jonas ist schuld an dieser ganzen Scheiße.
Wohin gehen wir?
Du musst ihn in den Bunker bringen. Bei Helges Hütte. Du hast nicht mehr viel Zeit. Ich muss meine Mutter finden.
Warte nicht ran.
Mein Vater. Er ist mit Elisabeth im Bunker. Ich soll zu ihm kommen.
Im Bunker. Wenn sie in einer halben Stunde nicht hier sind, dann gehen wir zu deinem Vater.
Also dieser Noah sagt, er ist dein Vater und kommt aus der Zukunft. Nein, Vergangenheit. Und er hat gesagt, dass die Apokalypse hier in Winden beginnt.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Was ist das? Das Kühlbecken des alten Reaktors. Wurde wohl schon versiegelt. Wird Teil der grünen Wiese.
Ich möchte, dass das hier abgebrochen wird.
See, right, just a quick one there in terms of that, like he wanted to break it open. Would he not have to go through like proper official channels, for example? Do you know what I mean? Like if I was an officer and I turned up to a power plant and he told me that this was a location where we cemented it in, you know what I mean, to contain the stuff, I couldn't just say, yeah, go smash that open. I'd be like, no, mate, you've got to go through this and get this signed off and this checked and this and this and this, and it'd take a couple of months or weeks to get the correct approval to go through to say, yeah, okay, it's safe to smash it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a radioactive place. You can't just go in and start smashing things up just because you're like, I want to see what's there.
Wann kann ich Alexander besuchen?
Here we go. Who's this? Ah, look.
Bitte hab keine Angst. Ich wollte nicht einfach so gehen. Ich erklär's dir.
I always say, your head would be absolutely baffled, wouldn't it? Honestly, it really would.
Du siehst anders aus. Anders, als ich dich das letzte Mal gesehen habe.
Niemals das tun, was er getan hat.
Er hat gesagt, dass du so etwas sagen wirst.
Gesagt, dass wir Freunde werden.
Bevor du mich verrätst. Wenn du ihn tötest, tötest du jegliche Hoffnung auf Erlösung. Er ist der Erretter.
Do we not get to know what it says?
Du musst sie retten. Später mich und Agnes. Dieser Kreislauf muss geschlossen werden, damit der nächste Zyklus beginnt.
He is absolutely obsessed with Martha, isn't he? Honestly. People look mad in them, don't they? They actually do look mad. Does he know? That's Claudia. Casting is good though. They all do look the same, don't they? I think anyway, like the casting's really good.
Jonas? Du bist wirklich zurückgekommen. Ich muss dir was erzählen.
Ich weiß es. Damals im Regen, ich weiß, warum du das gesagt hast. Mikkel, ich weiß alles. Mercedes warst du.
You just didn't want to be with the older one. You know what I mean? You wanted to be with her, Jonas.
So schließt sich der Kreis.
Oh, here we go.
Ich habe dir gesagt, dass alle Spielsteine auf ihrer Position sind.
Warum willst du, dass die Zukunft wieder genauso passiert?
Weil das, was heute entsteht, der Anfang vom Ende ist. Ich bin der Auslöser dafür, dass du zu dem wirst, was ich heute bin.
He's gonna kill Martha. That's how she dies. No, she'll be alright. Look at that.
Manchen Schmerz vergisst man nicht. Du wirst diesen hier dein Leben lang mit dir tragen. Bis du endlich bereit bist, loszulassen. Du kannst mich aufhalten oder versuchen, sie zu retten.
See, the thing is there, yeah, he's come in and he's killed her, and he's basically saying that he's creating, like, he basically said, I'm here to turn you into me. That's basically what he said, right? But knowing that, Jonas, if I was him, would not turn into him, because this one here, the one that shot Martha, he wants the world to end, and the current Jonas doesn't. But I don't understand how killing Martha would make him hate the world. It would only make me hate him, me, and I would not turn into him. Does that make sense? Because if somebody come in my house now, yeah, and killed all my family, for example, I would just hate that person. And I would want that person to die. I wouldn't attain a hatred for the human population and want the whole world to end. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I kind of don't get it. And because he knows that it's him that's done it as well, like, how can this Jonas grow up knowing that what he knows now and turn into him? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, like, because they both got totally different opinions on how they want the future to go, and this one's obviously doing actions to make the current Jonas fall on track to become him. But if I was Jonas, knowing that that's what he wants me to do, I'd go in a total opposite direction. I wouldn't even go in that way, and I'd force myself and ensure that I would never take his approach to things.
Nein, Frau Doppler. Das ist unser Elefant.
Sie haben keine Ahnung, um was es hier wirklich geht.
Aufmachen.
Nein, bitte nicht.
Aufmachen.
Nein, das ist falsch.
Jonas, das ist alles deine Schuld.
Ja, es ist meine Schuld, alles. Aber ich bin hier, um euch zu retten.
Wovor retten?
Vor der Apokalypse.
Look, it's opening the portal. Noah, her husband, just walked in. Has she just opened it again for them? Are they gonna see her in the cave?
My body is a cage.
That is pretty sick, that, to be fair, isn't it? Away from this apocalypse, mate. That's where we're going. Oh shit, look at this.
Nicht, wer du denkst, wer ich bin.
Marthe, das kann nicht sein. Ich verstehe.
Wir haben keine Zeit mehr.
Yo, what a fucking headfuck, mate. I have no idea what's going on. Look at this. Time machine's absolutely well advanced.
Die Frage ist nicht aus welcher Zeit.
Ah, where did it come
sondern
from?
aus welcher Welt.
What world, yeah. Oh, mate, it's mad, innit? It's bare confusing. It actually is fucking bare confusing, mate. So we've just literally watched this martyr die by this future Jonas. And then we've got this current Jonas meeting a different timeline martyr. She looks advanced. Her time machine's way more like developed, you know what I mean? Instead of this big box, she had just a circle ball, just twist it, open it up, and it twisted. I have no idea how season 3 is going to be, me. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, last season we ended with him going into the future, which kind of give me a vibe of how this season was going to go, and then obviously it's played out, it's been great. And this season we ended kind of differently. The apocalypse was happening. We do know it happened because we do know the aftermath, you know what I mean? We seen the start, no, we seen the ending of the end of this season at the start of this season, if that makes sense. So like right here, right now, we're seeing the apocalypse happen, but at the start of the season, we seen the aftermath of this ending. So I mean, whoever writes this, I've got to say fair play. They're really clever because they've had to introduce stuff knowing that how the season was going to end, but give us the advancements of that, you know what I mean? So like, we've seen Jonas turn up, we've seen the crosses, we've seen the deaths, we've seen the aftermath, we've seen the growth of obviously Elizabeth, we've seen all of this stuff go on in episodes 1, 2, 3 and 4, but all them stuff that happened in 1, 2, 3 and 4 occurred after the events of what's happened here in 7 and 8, you know what I mean? So like, it is clever and it must be really hard to write. And, you know, I've really enjoyed it. I thought it's been a good season. I thought season 1 was, like, I wouldn't say confusing, but, like, mind playing and questioning and thinking and guessing and all that stuff. And then now I've gone into the second season. I feel like they've just stepped it up and made it a bit more advanced, you know. We've just seen Noah get killed and we see Marta get killed. But then we also know that Noah's alive, because have we not seen him in a future timeline as well? I mean, we've seen him here in the past, we've seen him here in the present as a different one, and they can progress forward. So, like, I mean, even though people are dying, are they dying? That's the question. We're seeing them die, but are you dead? Are you coming back? Are we going in the past and bringing you back to the forward? Are we bringing you forward and is it always happened in the past? Everything's got to play out how it's supposed to play out and you can't really change it. And obviously it makes you wonder that the apocalypse that we've seen occur now, which occurred at the start of the season, was the events happening here and today in 8 always supposed to happen, which led to what happened in episode 1, 2 and 3. You know what I mean? It sounds daft. I said it at the end of the last episode. Sometimes I'm speaking and thinking, does that even make sense? But then, if I was speaking to Joe Blogs or Jeff or Steve over there who's never watched the show, you'd just think, what are you talking about? But if I'm watching to you guys who knows that the future impacts the past and the past now impacts the future, and we've watched, obviously, the aftermath of episode 8 in the aftermaths of 2, 3 and 4, do you know what I mean? Like, does it make sense to you? Because it's making sense to me, but I don't know how we're doing it in the third season, what we're doing from it. And the Marta one is pretty interesting because obviously I never suspected that she'd have a different version of herself and where she come from. And he said that, how are you here? And it's not how, it's what world. I think she said, usually it's how and it's not how, it's the when. But now it's not how, it's what world. You know, it's a bit different. So I'm excited to see obviously what we reveal in the first episode of the third season. Okay, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out our channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I mean, what a mad season this has been. There's so many twists and turns, ups and downs, trying to figure out who's who, what's what, you know, what's going on. I mean, I've got to be honest, I keep saying, mate, I know that Elizabeth is Charlotte's kid, but I keep saying that Charlotte... You know what I mean? Like, I keep saying that Elizabeth Charlotte's mum, and it's not. I know it's not. In my head, it's Elizabeth's kid with Noah is Charlotte's mum. And it's just that we haven't seen this kid enough. It's just the dropping of it. So, like, when I keep seeing it, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, no, it's not. But, like, I'm interested to see it because I kind of like what just happened there, you know. Charlotte's obviously learned about the future in the past, and she's not really experienced it or gone anywhere. She doesn't really know that the aftermath of the apocalypse like we do, but it's like reassuring to her to know that now that obviously it's occurring, that a child's going to be safe. clearly looks like all these have died. We haven't seen Charlotte at all in this future one where Elizabeth is, you know, in the where we seen Jonas at the start of the season and you know, the ending of last. I feel like Charlotte has died. They didn't get to the bunker in time, but her dad did. And so did Claudia, and so did Regina. And Noah's there as well. So we know that they actually make it and move forward and advance into the timeline. Everybody else, Marta, yep, she's got a gravestone. Fowler, yeah, he died in that place. All of these people as well. I don't want the storyline of this new detective that's coming in to end because he's searching for his brother, Alexander Kohler. We cannot just completely kibosh that storyline. Now, I'm not saying that this is the greatest storyline ever and I'm so intrigued and it's amazing and I really want more. What I'm saying is you give me a storyline, play it out, conclude it, give me the answers. You can't bring a detective in all season, coming in, interviewing people, going around, digging up plants, not getting, do you know what I mean? Like I was saying, he's just gone in there, dug it up. I would have thought you would have need more permission. You go through channels, check it out, it's radioactive, you know what I'm saying? But no, he's gone in there, he's done it. They kind of, I won't say caused it, but they played a factor in it. Everything is obviously playing out how it should have always done. But what I am saying is he's obviously coming with the intention to find his brother or what happened to him. He disappeared as well in 86, he said. And we've not had that. We just know that Alexander Kohler is just locked up now. He's just sat there. He's just waiting. I always wondered where his past come from, who he actually is, how did he arrive here, why was he shot, who shot him. Maybe he's part of the original founders or whatnot and it was Adam that popped him, you know what I mean, or something like that. It was interesting that obviously Agnes has come in and shot Noah. I think they're brothers or something, brother and sister, I can't really remember. They're both Nielsen's anyway. She's obviously killed him, part of the greater good. She's loving it, you know what I'm saying? Again, you know, we've seen Marta be shot by Adam, and he's saying that he's going to turn Jonas into who he is. But like me knowing Jonas, that it was me that shot Marta, then that would then not make me who I am. But maybe this Adam, the one, the burnt one, knows that this Marta was going to turn up. And the aftermath of it. He's saying that everything has to occur the way it is, and he wants to destroy, obviously, mankind. But at the end of the day, I said earlier on in the episode, I would rather be on Jonas's side and Claudia's side. I want them to return everything back to how it was. Why? Just do. Couldn't tell you why. You know what I mean? Maybe because I don't like Adam. Maybe it's because obviously they want to destroy the world and I actually want everybody to reunite. I want Mikhail and everybody to come back. Now, I know that we've been told that it can't happen, but I want to see it. I want to see what goes on. I'm more interested in how they conclude it with each other and if they can return than just ending the whole entire world just because Adam's got his little agenda. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to see what we do in season 3. I'm really excited. I think the first 2 seasons have been bang on. Honestly, really, really good. Can't really ask for much more. And there's not really been many crap episodes. Most of them have been pretty consistently solid. And, you know, I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what we do to conclude the final season. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you did enjoy it, please smash a like. It really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.